I think June is just popular.
Yeah,
in theory, it should make it easier for us in the UK because we're now UTC, so we don't have to work anything out. But that doesn't mean that we are going to be there.
Our time changes on Sunday night or Sunday morning at 2 a.m. So,
all right.
Yeah, we're going to be in the same boat here in a bit.
So we all change again. I think
when everyone's going to summertime, should we just move? Should we just, or away from daylight savings time, away from summertime? Should we just move everything an hour? That won't cause any confusion at all, will it?
Depends if we can get a 2/3 majority plus one vote on that, Douglas.
Yeah, I think it's funny to hear how many we have. So many meetings. Imagine the time this will happen. I predict someday we will vote yes on this. And if you think we're going to be busy after this call, imagine how busy we're going to be after the call when they're all green check marks.
I know.
That's going to be oh shit time.
Are we're recording, Adam? Yeah. Okay. We'll make a start then. So welcome to if I'm counting correctly, the third Telos go no-go call. And there is a slight change to the voting roster, or I've started a voting roster. So if we could please, if you intend to vote, only if you intend to vote and you have the right to vote, can you fill in the voting roster on the agenda, please? And Adam, could I ask you to do some maths for me while I'm on the call and work out what the line is, please, of 2/3 plus 1 for a yes vote, and post that in the chat, or let me announce it before we go live, please. Before I call for a vote. So without further ado, I'm going to attempt to share my screen, which could be interesting.
Go on, Jim. You can do it. You can do it.
Has that worked?
Yes.
Yay.
Hey. Skills. So the idea of this is that Douglas has made on more than one occasion the pledge not to go live until we are ready to go live. So he trailed this call by saying this was going to be the most boring call, the most boring launch. So we'll carry on boring everybody with this process. So I'm just going to go down the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 check marks. I'm not going to read them out, but all I'm going to ask is there anybody want to question whether those 5 check marks should be green? Okay, if anyone thinks they are not actually green and wants to contest those check marks, if you can post it in the chat or shout now or forever hold your peace, I would appreciate it. Okay, so the first yellow check mark that we've got, so as we have got a yellow check mark, we're presuming that we have got to think about how we're going to vote go or no go. As we said, we're only going to go if they're green. So could I get someone just to discuss why that's yellow, and if anyone thinks that should actually be a different colour?
Can I ask, I think I had a little click around on here and you click through to the issue on the GitHub and it says that it's closed. Would somebody like to explain just what that means and in relation to the green and the yellow?
So an issue can be anything. So on GitHub, an issue can be anything of note. Anyone can raise those. They may or may not actually be of note as determined by the development team. So there's not really a one-to-one with an issue. Regarding removal of non-producing BPs, there have been ongoing bugs just with making that work. I think we had a pretty good breakthrough actually last night, but that and so new code has gone to the network testing group. But green means functional and testing, so and tested, and there's really absolutely no benefit to the network for us pushing forward things that are untested and trying to put those into production. So just it's an abundance of caution.
Sure. So if it says closed on GitHub, the next step is tested, which then is green. Is that right? Have I got that right?
Well, an issue can be. Are you talking about a specific issue on GitHub? An issue can be closed without necessarily closing the entire thing.
The reason it's yellow is because it's in testing.
Yeah.
And it's going to stay yellow.
Yeah, got you. Sure, thanks.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, no one's suggesting. I know Roger's but yes, it is proper that it's in it, and it's in testing. It's actively being tested now, but that actual active testing of this particular one just started either last night or this morning. So that's the status there.
Okay, thanks for that.
And by the way, when it doesn't work, so we've run probably almost 40 testnet StageNet launches now. When it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It's not pretty. So it's super close, but not the way we want to kick off our network at all. So hopefully this is fixed. There was a loud cheer throughout the Good Block offices last night, and the sound of forehead smacking all around when when the guys like kind of figured out what's going on here. So
yeah, the wall repair bill alone just from beating the head against the wall should be
right. Yeah, totally.
Okay, thank you for that. So the next one is scheduled standby BP rotations. That's a green, and then we've got rewrite reg producer to include BP JSON format. That's a yellow. Does anybody want to comment on why that's yellow and how far off, or what we need to do to move that to a green?
I can comment on that. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, Peter, carry on.
So originally we decided it would be too much effort and too overcomplicating the reg producer action to add all of the information necessary, all of the information that would show in BP-based JSON. So we originally wrote a contract that we had named BP mins, and there's a pull request in for it now. But even that seemed too complicated. But since the discussion of setting up an IPFS configuration cluster in parallel with our mainnet launch, we could easily store our BP JSON as objects on the IPFS nodes in parallel. And so there's currently a design for taking in just an additional string in reg producer, which would be the object hash for your IPFS doc, and that would contain the same BP JSON, just decentralized and on IPFS. So we think that this might be the best of both worlds, because the goal for changing reg producer, part of the goal for changing reg producer was to get that information on chain, and this is just a cheaper way and easier way of doing that same thing. So right now that has been written. It just needs to be tested, and then once it's been tested, we'll go ahead and push that to green.
Yeah, that's an upgrade. We're already upgrading. It's a better solution that wasn't available to us before.
Okay, thanks for that, Douglas. And then we've got enforced BP mins and the refactor unit tests. So they're both green unless anyone's shouting out. We're going to be happy with those. Governance. We're all green on governance except for Telos Foundation voting tokens, and I'm presuming that is because they can't actually be activated until we're activated, or am I wrong in thinking that, Douglas?
No, you are right. So, well, there's two things. So what needs to happen for that to go green is we need to actually write that contract, and that is Craig and I and the rest of the team at Good Block have basically spec'd that all out. I think we understand it very well. It's not a large amount of work, but it's work that's been held off on because there's more pressing things that really need to happen first. But the plan is, that once some of these pressing things are done and we have a little sliver of time, we'll get that in and get it, and then of course it needs to be tested. And regarding the voting, I think that I've articulated a plan for how some of the voting will go. But I think what I'd like to do, since we are not all green today, and we pretty much all know how this is likely to go today, I think I'll put forward a little bit more information about expand on the proposed Telos Foundation voting process, so that we can all at least speak to it and see if it requires any additional ratification, or if it's fine under our existing understanding. So a little more work needs to go there. That is not going to be, that's just in the queue behind a bunch of other things.
Okay, thank you for that, Douglas. Okay, contracts. We are all we're all yellow, so I presume that is still a bunch of work. I know it is a massive bunch of work. So unless anybody wants to talk about how far we are on that, or shall we just move on because they're all yellow as far as I can see?
The ratify amend contract and worker proposal contract are further along than arbitration. They're all being worked on. There's been some, as we work on these and as we test them and as we run them by, we find new little things that we want to fix before we release them into the wild. And so that process is just ongoing. But I think everyone can look at ratify amend and worker proposal contract as pretty close. In fact, if you've seen the video that Marlon posted of actual worker proposal contract going up, pretty great that's happening. But don't be fooled. It doesn't mean it's ready for the world quite yet. There's some stuff to work out. Arbitrator is the one that's going to be. That's the one that's going to. I predict that's the last one to go green. So.
Okay, thanks for that, Douglas. So that brings us down to the tool section, which are all green, which we've probably got to have a big hat tip to Marlon on that. They're all green. Is there anything on that one that anybody thinks shouldn't be green? Is everyone happy that they're all green? Cool.
Very happy.
Okay then. So miscellaneous, there's only one yellow, which includes snapshot accounts. I'm guessing that's because we need to be closer. Is that why that's yellow, or is there any other reason?
That's, so we were expecting to do that. We were expecting to relaunch the testnet every day for the past week. There have been these little things that have stopped it. Again, I expect to launch it today. So once that's look at JT laugh. When we launch it, we have tested the including the snapshot accounts in numerous StageNet launch practices. We know how to do it. What we're planning to do is, as soon as the StageNet is launched, we will inject those so that people can actually practice using those on our system and accessing them and getting comfortable with the system. And I think it'll be a great moment, but it just hasn't happened yet. I don't think we don't foresee a lot of gotchas there. Okay
then, so can I have somebody who would like to propose that we move to a vote in a seconder, please?
Yeah, I propose to move it to a vote.
Second.
Sorry, who was the seconder, please?
Sayyad, I said I second it.
Thank you. If you can make a note of that, Phil, in the notes, we appreciate it. Thank you. It was Jan, and seconded by Saeed. Okay, then, so the question, should we launch? And remember, you can only vote if you are in the vote roster, and if you're in the vote roster, you're expected to vote. If you don't wish to vote and you're in the vote roster, then take your name out of the vote roster, please. This will be a provisional vote until I've had a chance to triple check everything, and I'll post the result on Slack, but we will obviously get a pretty good feel for what it goes like. So there's a question, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to, whoever is able to, post your reply. I'm going to get some music, James, and beat you to it one day, but I've shared my screen today, so that was more than you could wish for at the minute. I'm going to call it that we are not going for a launch. That is a provisional call. I've not yet done the maths, but I'm guessing that even my speculative maths can work that one out. So we aren't going for a launch, which then takes us to section B of the agenda of item 2, which is if the vote fails, the meeting will then proceed to highlight outstanding tasks and apply timeline targets relevant to working chairs, etc., etc. I think we've probably done that a little bit. Unless anybody wants to talk specifically about a particular area they're working on, then I'll put that open to the floor for the next few minutes for a general discussion about the yellow check marks. It's very quiet. Okay then, so if we don't wish to particularly talk about the yellow check marks, or we feel that we've done that already, then the next order of business is deciding on the next time we meet. I see that we've got sort of 3 options here. One, we can take my recommendation of Friday, the 2nd of November. Second option is one I was going to type there, but I already realised I put one option in. The next option is to only actually call for a meeting once everything has gone green on the website, as we have made a promise not to vote to go yes until it is all green on the website. So I feel, arguably, as we're still holding the launch group calls, that we are maybe wasting our time on this one, because we are covering what we're talking about in launch group calls. The third option is to put in a preliminary launch date that we will definitely vote yes. So I'll open that up to you guys. Douglas.
Is there not a fourth option of?
I'm sure there is, Douglas. I'm sure you're going to explain what it is.
Well, just our process to date, which is either setting a fixed date, either 1 or 2 weeks in the future, but not necessarily Friday the 2nd, to to meet again in this process.
Yeah, I do. Wednesday the 7th, maybe. Sorry.
Does anybody want to come up with a particular date, or does anybody think my idea of?
It's Sayyad. When I look into the StageNet and other things, I feel that 1 week is too optimistic. I think we still need at least 2 weeks.
This is Jesse from Calios. I think that a shorter time frame is going to give us a little bit of accelerated motivation, and I'd support a week. I think 2 weeks is a long time, and it maybe lets us get too relaxed. So we need to accelerate towards our goal.
Yeah, I agree with Jesse there also.
Thank you, Mark.
But okay, so if we come back in a week and we vote go on the 7th, and then we basically lose everybody. I say everybody, we lose many important people the weekend of 9th, 10th, and 11th due to the hackathon. I just want to throw that out there.
I think we can set a date if we vote yes. I don't think or correct me if I'm wrong, but would it be acceptable to say yes with a beginning on 4 days from the yes vote?
Well, I think the idea was that we would vote yes and then allow 4 days for slicing pie, freeze, and associated arbitration, and then have all of the injection CSV files finalized for launch thereafter. So, I mean, currently in the schedule it says we vote go, we wait 4 days, and then we launch the network. I mean, we can make it whatever we want. I'm just saying what it says right now.
You know, it says something different to that on the website. It says,
we'll update the website. We haven't officially adopted the launch process, so that those missed each other.
Yeah, I just think the launch page is obviously what the majority of people will be looking at. So if that's not right, we need to get that changed now.
Yeah, absolutely, indeed. We'll get that done today.
Madeline Barbulescu from Amplify Telos here. I want to say that I, for one, would find the idea that Jim had to go for a call when everything is green good.
How much, if we did go through that process, that seems, Jim, to make a lot of sense, how far ahead would we want to plan that, right? Do we wait until something's green, or do we say, hey, the last two are probably going to be green, in 2 days from now? Can we call it then, or do we? What would be the process that you'd envision for that?
Well, the way I'd envision it was I would wake up one day and this is permanently on my computer and they would all be green, and I would go, right, I'll call a meeting. That was what I was looking at it, which is not very professional, I agree, but unless they're all green, we're not going to launch. So we've got a choice. We can either say when they go green, we'll hold a meeting the day after, and then we can discuss the launch process. Or we go, let's just say, because we've been doing it like this, we could just go for a week ahead instead of going Friday. We're meeting Friday anyway. We could just say the 7th.
I think we've all been having a lot of meetings, and we have Tuesdays and Thursdays allocated for this. Maybe we could do the first Tuesday or Thursday following it going green.
I think alternatively, so I think that I totally agree with Jesse when he said that a 1 week timeline does actually keep a fire under everybody. But I think particularly with the oddity of so many people going to be who will be at the San Francisco Hackathon right afterwards, I think that even if we were to vote go, then it would be hard to actually do that, right? To carry that out. Maybe we should, like, I could see 2 weeks from, I could see us going 2 weeks from now, 2 weeks from today, either that Tuesday or exactly 2 weeks from now, that Wednesday.
Douglas, I vote for the 14th.
Sorry, what was that?
Joseph? Yeah, this is Joseph from EOS Barcelona. You have the San Francisco Hackathon in a week, and then in 2 weeks we have the Oslo Crypto Finance meeting, and many of us will be flying there for 4 days. So if we are not going to launch next week, launching the other week, yeah, we can do that, but many of us might be in a plane.
What's crazy about this is that the EOS chain launched during one of these events also, if memory serves.
Yeah. But it is a no, because I mean Joseph is one of the launch directors and one of the ABPs, so that is of more, and he's a currently one-man team. So I think that
yeah, I can join later to the party. And just saying that I'm not the only one flying to Oslo, right? So even a few teams will be,
No, it's a good thing. I mean, I'd hate to be ready to launch and then not do it because travel schedules and things like that. And then just push it into December due to that. I personally think that if we were to looking at it right now, if we were to meet 1 week from today, I think the chances of launch would be low, not impossible, but low. But I think we're really just saying we would do that in order to keep a fire under everybody. Maybe we can figure out a sweet spot between those two events where people who are going to Oslo, where people who are going to San Francisco are back, and people who are going to Oslo would have enough time before leaving, and just see if we could hit a seam there that might work, and then aim for that.
So when is Oslo? Would that be the 14th, Joseph?
No, Oslo is 16 and 17, but I'm flying there on the 15th, and then I am going back home at 1 a.m. in the morning, the night from Sunday to Monday. So
it's not far though, Joseph. It's only a hop over the sea.
If we are going to lunch before that, I might unregister my producer because I don't know.
But we could have the call on the 14th and everybody be there.
Yes, and if we agree to go ahead, if we can wait 5 days, then I'm back on Monday, and then.
Okay, well, I'm gonna call this guy.
So can we have a call on the Tuesday, on the day before that, on the 13th? Since at that point we should be, by the 13th, we really should be. The main thing we'd be talking about is whether that's just kind of a pre-go no-go anyway, right? Hopefully, we're not still voting on tips then.
Okay, so Douglas, I'm going to say that we're going to come back here on the next call is going to be on the 7th. And even if it's a very, very short call to say we're going to move it to the 13th, then we can also then discuss people's travel arrangements and various launch processes, etc., etc. So I'm going to say that the next meeting is going to be on November the 7th, and I will put out the necessary calls and agendas to put that through. So this time next Wednesday, Wednesday the 7th, will be the next no-go call. Thank you for your time, everybody. We have another call on Friday, which is the launch group call. Can I ask that we get any tips in Slack and discuss before then, please? And that we, well, let's get this launch, guys. Come on, let's get on with it. JT, come on, move yourself. Okay, thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for your time. I'm sure we shall see each other very, very soon on various other channels and discussions. So thanks very much, everybody, and cheerio.
Yep.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Bye.
you, guys. Bye now.
Don't switch me off yet, Adam. Chester? Yeah, just 2 minutes. Beth, are you coming to Oslo?
Boy, that would be fantastic, but I don't think my schedule will allow. Unless